Hi friends! Welcome back to another travel vlog. I'm a little bit late on the Christmas edition, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope you're having an amazing beginning to the year. It took me a while to get around to publish this vlog because, I took some time off just from life and everything, but I had a really great holiday. I hope you guys did too. My family came from Mexico and Brazil, and we drove around different countries in the Balkans, starting off with Serbia, then Macedonia, and then to Greece. But that will be a whole nother video. In this vlog, we're exploring Belgrade, the capital city of Serbia. We arrived on a Friday night and went straight out to dinner. Ended up in this really fancy Asian fusion restaurant, which was super tasty, but extremely expensive and a little bit of a pretentious vibe. So I don't know if I recommend it. I would recommend it maybe for the cocktails. The food wasn't that amazing. So this is the view from our apartment, and I feel like it really shows the essence of Belgrade. Here we have this really crazy, déjame abrir. This really crazy old abandoned building. And then there's like the modern city with these crazy upside down looking skyscrapers. Belgrade is an incredibly interesting and underrated city. I don't think a lot of people from around the world put Belgrade on their list when they visit Europe, and I really think they should. I mean, first of all, it's the old capital of Yugoslavia, so it is very, very rich in history. You can definitely come here and immerse yourself in history, especially if you're not from the region. You will definitely learn a lot. We drove to Belgrade from Pristina. It's about a 5 to 6 hour drive, depending on traffic, because we had to pick up our parents from the airport. They were flying in from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it's just a better connection than flying directly to Pristina. On this first day, we kind of just walked around and waited for them to arrive. It was really shitty weather, but you can't let that hold you back. Outside the airport, there's this outdoor Yugoslavian air museum. It's amazing if you have time to stop and take pictures. It's pretty wild. They flew in on the 24th of December, and we are not a religious family at all. So we kind of just used this day to have a nice welcome family dinner. And we went to this restaurant, which we had been to before. If you ever go to Belgrade, you have to visit. It's impeccable. Everything we've ever had here has just been so memorable. It was truly the perfect welcome dinner for what turns out to be a food marathon every single time we go on holiday with my family. One of the things I love about Belgrade is that it's a very dog friendly city. Serbian people love dogs, and if you love my dog, then you've already won my heart. The food scene here is also pretty great. We have been super lucky at most of the restaurants that we've gone to. We do always put in the research, that's normal for us, but we always eat really well. I have to say, I was pretty worried about hosting my Latin family in the Balkan winter, but I guess climate change is on my side this year because it's been beautiful. Unlike last year that we were covered in snow, it was sunny every single day. I was truly expecting snow blizzards, and I made everybody buy snow boots. Belgrade has a lot of outdoor public spaces, which is something I always appreciate about a city. So on the 25th of December, we kind of just spent the day walking around the city park, taking in the winter sun. For sunset, we walked over to the waterfront, which we had already seen the previous day, but in the morning and in the rain. This region was built as a series of warehouses and containers for storage purposes for customs. It was abandoned for a long time, and only recently did they refurbish it to house only restaurants and bars. So it's become a really trendy area for people to come and watch the sunset and have a nice cocktail, which of course is exactly what we did. That night for dinner, we walked over to the Bohemian neighborhood, which I will not even try to pronounce because I will definitely be butchering. This street is filled with restaurants and bars, and it's always full of people. But my favorite part of town sits right behind this street. It's this big compound of bars and cafes and vintage shops, and there's an old factory tower, so it's very easy to identify. The reason I like this space so much is because, well, first of all, it's always vibing. You go there and there's always people. It has a very young and lively atmosphere. But also because I feel like it's a really good representation of what they always say about Belgrade, that it's a perfect merging of the old and the new. You can truly see it and feel it everywhere in the city, how they don't try to erase their history, but they're really building new stories on top. Also, Belgrade has a reputation for having some of the best nightlife in the entire continent, which I unfortunately haven't been able to experience yet. But I will be back. Ever since I moved to Kosovo, the one thing that I've been missing is access to international products. If you follow me anywhere on social media, you already know that I spend a lot of time cooking. So every single time I travel to a neighboring country, one thing that I do is go to their local supermarket. I just love to see what kind of products they have, but also look for Asian supermarkets. So the Belgrade version of Chinatown, which is not exactly what you imagine or what you may have seen in other cities, but it does exist. And on this trip, I set out to find it. Back in the Yugoslavian era, parts of the city were divided into blocks. These blocks were expected to have a lot of the services that you need to really survive. Today, Block 70 is an enormous space filled with absolutely everything you could imagine. Everything from China, of course. Like much of Belgrade, it is not particularly aesthetically beautiful, but it focuses on the practical side of it. You can truly just walk blocks and blocks and find anything that you could possibly need or not need in your house. So if you're in Belgrade and you're looking for Asian ingredients or you're someone that likes to bargain, then you should definitely hit up Block 70. Since it's a very rare occasion that we get to eat any kind of Asian food while living in the Balkans, we decided to go to this restaurant that was walking distance from Block 70, and it was actually very good. I would recommend the crispy duck. You can never go wrong with a crispy duck. And that was our last meal of the trip. This might seem super random to you guys, but whenever we go to Belgrade, we always make a stop at IKEA on the way out because it is the closest IKEA we have to Pristina. This vlog by no means represents a thorough guide on what you should do on a long weekend to Belgrade. I guess it's just more of a window into how we like to spend our days while we're traveling when we don't have a lot planned. So thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you on the next trip.